Oh man, August 31st. That's like 13 seconds on the summer clock, and I've got no timeouts left. I'm going to be so depressed soon. I love the summer. Late night is off this week. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. One thing that did make me happy is the trailer for the Weird Al movie. The trailer shows us a misunderstood child version of Al, whose parents tell him maybe he should just stop being who he is. Al then privately explores his love of the accordion as a teenager and gets dragged home from a polka party by the police. We see Al in college and he tells his friends, "All I wanted to do was make up new words to a song that already exists." Some good copywriting here. The trailer explores episodes of Yankovic's life, from his meteoric rise to fame with early hits like Eat It and Like a Surgeon, to his celebrity love affairs and famously depraved lifestyle. The film premieres this fall exclusively on the Roku channel. November 4th is your date there if you've got a calendar handy. From the Daily Mail, Jim Jeffries revealed how he hit rock bottom after a heavy night of boozing with his close mates and Hollywood star Russell Crowe. Jeffries was on the Nova FM breakfast show with Fitzy and Whippa. Jeffries told Fitzy and Whippa, "Yeah, I've had some heavy nights of drinking, but I haven't had a drink in 18 months, and look, I'm a pothead now. Weed's legal in this country. I'm stoned most days, so I gave up the alcohol. But one of my last nights of drinking, my second last night of drinking, was I got drunk at Russell Crowe's place, and Seth MacFarlane was there," name dropper, "and he started playing piano, and I thought I'd stand up and sing one of the songs from The Little Mermaid, and I thought I probably hit bottom." The Daily Mail also shared Jim Jeffries earlier this month was on the Kyle and Jackie O show, and he filled in for Kyle. And he told co-host Jackie O. Henderson giving birth was easy. Jackie said, "I can't believe you said that. First of all, buddy, I didn't have an epidural." Jim cut her off and said, "Look, if you don't have an epidural, it looks like agony." Jackie said, "I thought I was going to die." Jim said, "It's just like being on drugs and breaking your leg. It doesn't hurt at the time." Jackie said she thought something could still be felt on an epidural. Jim said, "You're emotional for sure." From the Wall Street Journal, your home for comedy news, they recapped Joe Rogan's podcast. Why? The guest, Facebook dude Mark Zuckerberg, on the Joe Rogan Experience. Zuck told Rogan, "You wake up in the morning, you look at your phone, you get like a million messages, right, of stuff that's come in. It's usually not good. It's almost like every day you wake up and you're like punched in the stomach. Now I need to go reset myself and be able to be kind of productive and not be stressed about it." Rogan asked questions about Facebook's decision to restrict New York Post reporting ahead of the 2020 presidential election based on what the newspaper said were emails sent from or received by Joe Biden's son Hunter. Zuckerberg said, "The FBI came to us, some folks on our team, and was like, 'Hey, just so you know, you should be on high alert.' The fact checkers looked into it, and no one was able to say it was false." I don't know if the answer would have been, don't do anything or don't have any process. I think the process was pretty reasonable, but obviously you don't want situations like that. NBC News chimes in with the headline, "FBI responds to Mark Zuckerberg claims in Joe Rogan's show." The day after Mark Zuckerberg said that Facebook limited a polarizing story ahead of the 2020 election because of an FBI warning, the federal agency said it can only alert a private entity of a potential threat, not require it to take action. What else did they talk about? Zuck said Meta has plans to release a new virtual reality headset and his newfound love of jiu-jitsu. I listened to the whole thing. Honestly, I kind of fell asleep parts of it, so I'm not sure I could pass a quiz on the entire article, but it was okay. Not the best Rogan interview of the week. Speaking of the Joe Rogan Experience, I finished the Louis C.K. episode, and during that one, Louis shared that when I had my bad time, I thought I'm not going to hear from Jay Leno again, and he called me. He said, "Hey man, hope you're doing okay. Everybody loves you. You're doing okay." He's never not been there. CK was also on the Your Mom's House podcast. I also listened to that one. CK told host Tom Segura and Christina P. that it was his acceptance of the situation which provided personal relief. CK said, "You just got to go, okay, every day, see how you get through this day, and it's not going to be better tomorrow. That's the hardest thing. Tomorrow's not going to be better. It's just going to suck, 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 suck." 5 sucks there. I like Segura and Christina P. a lot as comedians. I'm not sure I love the podcast. I understand it's a very popular podcast. You don't have to throw tomatoes at me. I didn't find them to be the best interviewers. I'm also not a good interviewer. It's okay to not be a good interviewer. I'm probably not even good at this. Anyway, Louis C.K. was on Your Mom's House. Inside Hook asked the question, do we really need a documentary about Louis C.K.'s comeback? They quoted that boss over there at Paramount who said, he's a great, great comedian who's come back in his own way. Inside Hook writes, that sounds weirdly sympathetic to someone who's admitted to sex crimes. Will this doc celebrate the disgraced comedian's comeback? Who exactly is the target audience here? Today is the 25th anniversary of the death of Princess Diana. I'm the writer on a podcast that's called Palace Intrigue. We talk about the royal family. That podcast has been white hot for the last week and a half. Meghan Markle's putting out podcasts now, plus this Diana anniversary. So if you want to follow the royals, Palace Intrigue, we do 5-7 minutes. This week's a little longer. There's a lot going on, but 5-7 minutes every day about the royal family. Palace Intrigue, wherever you get your shows. Do you remember where you were that night? I do. I'll try and condense the story. Back in the late 90s, my buddies and I, we used to go down to Baltimore and go check out an Orioles game and then would go drink at Fells Point. So on this particular night, we had 2 groups in 2 hotel rooms and about 15 of us. However, I had 1 key and my buddy Fitz had the other key, and Fitz disappeared. So 1 in the morning rolls around and we're all kind of done and want to go to bed. And it's one of those hotel rooms with 2 double beds. So I will remember, I'm in the double bed closest to the window. I'm sharing a bed with Dan. There was O'Shea sleeping on the floor at the foot of the bed. Somebody was between the beds. In the other bed, 2 other guys. In front of that bed, another guy. And then somebody had their head in the bathroom. That's how packed the room was. Meanwhile, the other clowns with the other key had like 3 people in 2 twin beds. Thanks a lot, fellas. Anyway, I remember I really had to pee, but I was like, boy, if I got to pee, I got to climb over Dan. I got to step on O'Shea. I step on the other guy. Somebody's head's in the bathroom. I'm like, oh, I'm just sitting there trying to fall asleep. And then all of a sudden, O'Shea yells out, "Holy S, Princess Diana's dead." That's where I was. Palace Intrigue, wherever you get your shows. I checked out Tim Dillon, who you know I have I don't have a man crush on him. Pod crush? I have a pod crush on Tim Dillon. He was on Kevin Hart's podcast. What's that called? Comedy Goldmines. What a misuse of Tim Dillon. That sounds to me like somebody asked Kevin Hart, hey, you want Tim Dillon on? He's got a new special. And Kevin was like, yeah. And he didn't know what to do with Tim Dillon. It was a serious interview. That's not what you do with Tim Dillon. You tee him up to make funny political observations and he slams it home. You don't ask him about comedy or his career. Waste of time. Big fan of Tim Dillon, not a big fan of Kevin Hart, Comedy Goldmines. At least that episode. In that interview, Tim Dillon mentioned that it was his producer, Ben Avery, who directed the new Netflix special. So that could possibly, perhaps, maybe explain why some people thought perhaps maybe the sound wasn't optimal. I'm not familiar with Ben Avery, podcast producer, being the legendary director of comedy specials. So maybe the special was a little homebrew and maybe perhaps possibly the sound wasn't optimal, but that would explain it. Melbourne comedian Ibrahim Akbar's video has gone viral on Instagram. The topic, things to never tell your girlfriend. All right. Things to never tell your girlfriend. Number 1, you're overreacting. He says, is she overreacting? Probably. Does she need to know that? Absolutely effing not. What's the need? Just go along with it. Number 2, never tell your girlfriend, you're wrong. He questioned why any man would tell his girl, you're wrong. Are you effing dumb? That's like going to sub-Saharan Africa, finding a hungry lion, slapping it across the face with a piece of tender meat, and just sitting there shocked when it attacks you. You know what it says on your gravestone? Cause of death, telling his girl she's wrong. Number 3, don't tell your girlfriend, maybe you should change your outfit. He says your girl's taken 3 business days to choose that outfit. She had PowerPoint presentations with the girls explaining why this was the best outfit, and you ruined the next 15 years of her life with one comment. Regardless of what she wears, tell her she looks good. Number 4, don't tell your girlfriend you don't feel like eating. When it comes to food, men have no excuse but to eat every time their girlfriend is hungry, and never say I don't feel like eating. She's not asking you if you're hungry. She's telling you you're hungry, so let's go out and eat. There's no excuses. Go. And the number 5 thing to never tell your girlfriend, get any nail color. If a girl is at the nail studio and she's asking you what color she should do her nails, this is promoting you. She's accepting you. Don't ruin the opportunity. You might say, I don't care, choose any nail color. But what she's hearing is, I want to break up with you. When a girl gets her nails done, Ibrahim says it's an opportunity to offer suggestions on the perfect color. Not only will she appreciate the input, but it'll make her decision easier, make her feel like you care about small things. The video has been watched more than 400,000 times. And from Essentially Sports, they asked Mike Tyson, hey, Mike Tyson, if Pete Davidson fought rapper Machine Gun Kelly, who would win? I was wondering the same thing. I'm glad they asked him. Tyson said, it's really interesting. I would hope Pete would want to win, but he's just too mellow to throw punches. It looks like he's just too cool. So it sounds like Tyson's taking MGK. And that's your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your shows, and I'll see you tomorrow.